Doing good, na? Okay. So, what actually we are going to discuss in today's class, that is completely based on your previous, whatever we studied in the previous classes, that is correlated. Okay. In the previous classes, we have already covered two type of rectifier. Huh? One is your half wave rectifier, another is, what is it? Full wave rectifier. And in case of full wave rectifier, we have already covered one type of full wave rectifier, that is called center tap. Center tap rectifier, we have already discussed its constructional view, then its working principle, and after that we have already discussed the input and output waveform, how actually it working. So in today's class, we are going to discuss another kind of your full wave rectifier, that is your bridge rectifier. Full wave bridge rectifier. Okay. Now already we have discussed one kind of your full wave rectifier, that is your full wave center tap rectifier. In spite of having one kind of full wave rectifier, we are going to discuss another one. Why? Because in that particular center tap kind of full wave rectifier, we have some sort of drawbacks in that kind of full wave rectifier. What is those drawbacks, that we will going to discuss later on. Okay. Now one major drawback I would like to bring before you, that is, in case of full wave center tap kind of rectifier, during its construction we have used a special kind of transformer, that is called center tap. That is called a center tap transformer. We require to construct a what? Full wave center tap transformer, full wave center tap rectifier. Now, in this particular center tap kind of transformer, we require a tap from the mid of the secondary winding of the transformer. From the mid of the secondary winding of the transformer, which is quite difficult to manufacture a kind of transformer like this. And we have to see, if we have a coil and anyone asks you to tap exactly from the center point of that coil and to extract a point, and it is quite difficult. Why? Because coil is wounded, na? It is wounded like like a wounded like structure, and it is quite difficult to point out which point is actually the center point. If that center point is not found out properly, then we can say in the secondary side we won't able to get the same kind of voltage in either of the side of the tapping position. So for getting a perfectly centrally tapped position in the secondary side in this particular transformer, we have to go through a very sophisticated process, which makes this transformer very expensive. For which we can say this kind of rectifier, where we are using this center tap kind of transformer, it is not at all cost effective. Okay. For that particular reason, we are going for another kind of full wave rectifier, where we have to replace this particular center tap transformer with a normal transformer. Okay. So in this particular, the objective behind this full wave bridge rectifier is, we have to replace this center tap transformer from its construction. So in this case, we have to go through its circuit diagram, or you can say the constructional view. So in this constructional view, we can see Usually in a rectifier, what actually in the first stage we are having is step down transformer. Okay, step down transformer, you know it very well. What is a step down transformer? See, in case of step down transformer, whatever the voltage we giving in the primary side of the transformer, we are getting a less voltage in the secondary side of the transformer. And those transformers are called as what? The step down kind of transformer. So this step, in case of a step down kind of transformer, we can say the relationship between the number of turns available in the primary side is always greater than the number of turns available in the secondary side of the winding. So this kind of transformer we have to use here. Let's say this is a step down kind of transformer. Okay, we are using here step down transformer. Now, in this case, this step down transformer has to be connected with a bridge. That bridge is constructed with 4 diodes. Diode means the normal p-n junction diode. We have to use 4 diodes to construct that bridge. Now, the bridge looks like this. See, these are the 2 positions. And here I have to draw the bridge of the diode. These are the 4 positions. Okay. Now the fashion of connection of these 4 diodes are like this. See, if I am connecting a diode like this in this particular point of the transformer, another diode I have to connect in the same direction. Okay. In the same direction. Now, and I can put the name also like in a similar kind. Let's say this is D1 and this is D2. Then in the other 2 arm of the bridge, I have to connect 2 more diodes in the other direction. Okay. And you just put the name like let's say this is your D3 and D4. Let's say this position is A and this is B. So we can say this is the bridge rectifier overall, and now the secondary voltage, whatever the voltage we are applying here, this is a AC voltage. This is a AC applied here. Let's say this is 220 volt or something like that, and 50 hertz. The supply whatever we have, and we have a step down alternating voltage here. Whatever depending upon the rating of the transformer. That may be 5 volt, that may be 12 volt, that may be 9 volt. But it depends upon the rating of the transformer. Now, this step down AC quantity is available here between these 2 points A and B, which is applied in these 2 nodes of the bridge. Now, between these 2 nodes, I have to connect the load. Load means the rectified output that is meant for the load, which has been driven by this particular rectified output. This load has to be driven by this output. So let's say this is a resistive load and this is RL. This is named as RL. Now this is the constructional feature. Here I have a transformer, step down transformer. This is the bridge. Okay, constructed by 4 diodes D1, D2 and D3, D4. And between these 2 positions I am connecting the load, that is RL, that is resistive in nature. Now this is the constructional feature of you can say the constructional view of our full wave rectifier, or you can say full wave bridge rectifier. Here we are replacing the center tap transformer. We are not using the center tap transformer here. Okay, but we are taking 2 more diodes. We are using 2 more diodes. if we compare the cost of two diodes, then that is very nominal. That is very nominal. And if you compare the cost of the center tape transformer and the cost of two additional diodes, we can find that using two more diodes is quite cost effective as compared to use a center tape transformer for constructing a bridge rectifier. Okay, so in this case we can say this is a cost effective option and it works in a better way. And one more thing we can say कि this circuit is little bit complicated because two more diodes are available there, but we can memorize that connection pattern and we can exactly draw in our papers. Okay, now we have to move to the waveform or you can say the working principle of this particular bridge rectifier. Now during the discussion of this bridge rectifier, we have to take the help of these sinusoid waves or you can say the alternating quantity to analysis what is the pattern of output we are getting here across the load, what actually we are applying and what actually we are getting. Okay, now in this case we can say, let's say I have a alternating quantity like this. Okay, I have a alternating quantity like this, or you can say the alternating coil. Okay, now we know very well that one particular quantity is said to be alternating if it is a time varying quantity. If it is a time varying quantity means its value will be changed according to the time, its amplitude as well as direction. It will change. It will change its amplitude as well as its direction. Not means if we analyze this signal, or if we consider this signal, let's say this is your time axis and this is a voltage signal V of t, and with respect to this time, let's say it starts at 0. From this to this, the level of the voltage is getting changed. From 0 to this particular position, it will attain its maximum value, then it will comes to again 0. And from this position it will alter its direction. Okay, so in this case we can say this particular quantity will alter its amplitude as well as its direction. That's why it will consider as a alternating current or alternating voltage, or you can say alternating quantity. Otherwise you cannot say that is a alternating quantity. Both the changes will be reflected over there in its waveform. Voltage or you can say amplitude as well as the direction. Now this particular voltage, let's say applied here in this rectifier, and we get a step down kind of output here, and that is also alternating in nature. That is also an alternating nature, and this step down voltage is fed to these two position, these 2 point of this diode bridge, these 2 position of this diode bridge. When we can say, now when this particular step down and alternating quantity appear here across these 2 positions, what happens? This we have to analyze. See, this step down alternating quantity has a positive half cycle, again has a negative half cycle. Then it is again positive, then it is again negative, then it is again positive, and it will continue. Now for a particular instant of time, we can able to say it will approach these 2 positions with a positive voltage, and at the very next instant of time we can say at these 2 particular point we will get a negative voltage, isn't it? So for the positive half cycle we can say A becomes positive, and the node B becomes negative, and this particular voltage appears here. Okay, now at the negative half cycle we can say the node A become negative and the node B become positive as it will change its direction. So now what happened here? During the positive half cycle, we can say the positive voltage appears here. Okay, the positive voltage appears here at A and it is negative. B is negative here. Okay. Now when it becomes positive and if we analysis these two, if we take these two diodes into consideration, the anode of diode D1 connected to this particular point and it will experience a positive voltage. It will experience a positive voltage. Okay, but the cathode of diode D4 connected to the same position, same node. The cathode of diode D4 is also connected to the same point. Now here the cathode experience a positive voltage. When the anode of diode 1 experience a positive voltage, the cathode of diode D4 experience a positive voltage. So by taking into consideration this case, in this particular time, we can say diode D1 with respect to this positive voltage becomes forward bias, whereas diode D4 becomes reverse bias. And we know during forward bias, diode behaves as a short circuit. So the current, whatever the voltage available here with respect to this voltage, a current will start conduct through diode D1 and diode D4 behaves as a open circuit. Now this particular current arrives here. Now here when it will arrive here, it found that here the diode D4, D3 again the cathode of diode D3 is connected to this position, and if cathode of diode D3 connected to this position, again this diode D3 becomes reverse bias and it will possess a infinite resistance, or you can say it will behave as a open circuit. So when this diode D3 behaves as a open circuit, then the current will start to flow through the load resistor and it will continue this path and it will continue up to this node. Now when it arrive here into this node, then the current will start flowing from here. Current was started from here. From this it will start go through D2 and arrive at your point B. Now this circuit getting completed. The current started from the positive terminal and ended at the negative terminal, and the current completes its path, and we can able to get a direction of current from this through this load, that is in this direction. Okay, let's say if you put some name here, let's say this is your C, this is let's say take this C as C and this as D. From C to D we are getting the current. From C to D we are getting the current, and this is in this direction, and this is for the positive half cycle. And if we take the waveform for the output or the current flowing through the load or the voltage drop across the load for the positive half cycle, it will be in phase, and or you can say it will follow the same direction and we will get the same output here. Now come to the negative half cycle. When this negative half cycle, see, you all understand this, na? This same thing is already discussed in the half wave rectifier also. Why? In not only half wave rectifier, this is because of the nature of diode. Diode is forward bias. When diode conducts when it will forward bias, and diode will not conduct when it is reverse bias. And we are finding out this, that during this positive half cycle, diode D1 and D2, these are forward bias, and D4 and D3, they are reverse bias. That's why current flowing in this side, this direction, from C to D through the load, and we are getting the output waveform like this. Okay. Now when we move into the negative half cycle, when we move into the negative half cycle of the input waveform, negative half cycle of the input waveform, what we are getting, during this negative half cycle, node A becomes negative. Node A becomes negative, or you can say the point A becomes negative. If point A becomes positively, definitely we have to consider B as positive. B as positive. If one becomes negative, definitely other end of the transformer behaves as a negative terminal. So when we get in the A terminal A is negative, when we are finding out the terminal A as a positive, or you can say terminal A experience a negative voltage, in that particular instant terminal B will experience the positive voltage. Okay, so taking into these two sign convention, A is negative and B is positive, during this negative half cycle we can say this particular positive voltage approach this node and this particular negative voltage approach this node. Okay, so in that case we can say when positive voltage appears here in this particular node, then in this particular node what we are observing, the anode of diode D3 connected to this position and the cathode of diode D2 is connected to this position. Okay, this is visible now. So when we are getting a positive voltage here and the anode of diode D3 is connected to this particular point and cathode of diode D2 connected to this point, and taking into consideration that this voltage is positive, whatever the voltage available here in this point that is positive, we can say that now this diode D3 becomes forward bias because the anode of diode D3 experiences a positive voltage and the cathode of diode D2 experiences a positive voltage. Now cathode of D2 when experience a positive voltage, we can say diode D2 is the reverse bias. Reverse bias means it will become open circuit, and diode D3 is forward bias means it will start conduct, or it will It will behave as a short circuit and current starts to flowing through this. Current starts to flowing through this because of this negative half cycle. Because of this negative half cycle. Now, this current, because of this negative half cycle, when approach to this node, what actually happened? See, the cathode of diode D1 connect to this position. The cathode of diode D1 connected to this position. So again, this D1 becomes reverse bias. If diode D1 becomes reverse bias, it will again behaves as a open circuit. It will again behaves as a open circuit. Okay. So if diode D1 behaves as a open circuit, then current will not going through this direction. Current will not going through this direction. Rather, current starts to flow in this direction and it will flow through the load. It will flow through the load and it will come in this direction and it will continue up to this node. Now in that particular, when current arrived in this position, again current found that the diode D2 is reverse bias, that we previously analyzed. So it will flow in this direction and it will approach to the node A, and the current will approach to node A. Okay, so it started to flow from node B during the negative half cycle and ended at node A, and the circuit is getting completed. Okay, now what happened in this case? If we observe the direction of current, through this load, because of this negative half cycle of the input is again in the same direction, that is from C to D. So in a general convention in KVL KCL, we have observed that the entering point of the current is considered as positive and the leaving point is considered as negative. The sign convention for the current flowing through both the half cycles is same. Sign convention. See, for the positive half cycle, the current flowing from C to D, then this is positive, this is negative. The current flowing through the load during the negative half cycle, this is also from C to D, isn't it? So, for the negative half cycle also, the current entering at point C and current leaving at point D. Same whatever we are observing in the for the positive half cycle. So we can say in this case now there is no more change in direction. There is no more change in direction. Okay, there is no more change in direction. So when we going to plot the output waveform for the negative half cycle, for the positive half cycle we are getting a waveform like this, and we are saying that there is no alteration of direction during the negative half cycle. If no alteration of direction, then we can able to form the waveform like this in the negative half cycle, isn't it? Because for the positive half cycle, it's enter at C, it leaves at D. So, and for the negative half cycle also, it's enter at C and it's leaves at D, isn't it? So there is no change in direction we are getting during this. So if there is no change in direction, then we are getting the waveform like this. So this is for the negative half cycle. So after this negative half cycle, again we get the positive one. The waveform is like this. After this negative half cycle, positive half cycle, again the negative half cycle is there. For this negative half cycle also we are getting the positive voltage. Okay, and again after this positive negative we are getting the positive one. So by analysis, so this is the output. If you consider this is an input and this is your rectified output. This is also output voltage. Let's say this is VI of t and this is VO of t, and this is step down AC voltage, and this is your rectified output voltage. Okay. So if we compare these two voltages, if you compare these two waveforms, what actually we are finding, we are getting here. See, the variation in voltage from the amplitude point of view, it is here in the output also. The variation in voltage is there in the input, the variation in voltage, or you can say amplitude, that is also available here in the output voltage. But there is no alteration in direction in the output, rectified output. If there is no alteration in direction, then this particular waveform, we cannot say this is a alternating quantity. Now this is a form of DC. This is not pure DC. Some AC ripples are there. Because of that AC ripples, this is considered as pulsating DC, or you can say PDC, pulsating DC. This is regarding what? This is your whatever the output input we are providing to the bridge rectifier, and this is the output we are getting from the bridge rectifier. Now, so in this case we can say for the positive half cycle, diode D1 and D2, these two are become forward bias, isn't it? So we can say for this particular waveform, this particular waveform we are getting for diode D1 and D2, and for reverse bias, so for negative half cycle, diode D3 and D4, these two waveforms becomes forward bias. For positive half cycle, diode D1 and D2 becomes forward bias, D1 and D2, and these are forward bias and current conduct in this particular fashion. Okay, like this. And for negative half cycle, diode D3 and D4, these two becomes what? Forward bias. For diode D3 and D4, and this particular fashion continue. Okay, this again here D1 and D2 become forward bias, here D3 and D4 become forward bias, here D1 and D2 become forward bias, next D2 and D3 and D4 become forward bias, and this will continue. And in this particular case we can say for one particular half cycle, one pair of diode becomes forward bias. For the next half cycle, it will become reverse bias. ठीक ना? For this positive half cycle, diode D1 and D2 become forward bias. But for this half cycle, it will become reverse. For this particular half cycle, diode D3 and D4 become forward bias. But for this, it will become reverse, isn't it? That's why the flow of current in this particular through this load becomes unidirectional. For positive half cycle, it will flow from C to D. Same for negative half cycle, it will flow from C to D. Though the current starts to flow from A during the positive half cycle, and the current will starts to flow from B from B during the negative half cycle. But when both the current approaches to load, they will flow from C to D, isn't it? During the negative half cycle, current flow from B to A. During the positive half cycle, the current will flow from A to B. For this particular bridge, the current through the load becomes unidirectional. For positive half cycle, it will from C to D. From negative half cycle also, it will from C to D, and the alteration of direction is cancelled here. No alteration of direction is available here during this rectified output, and we are getting a pulsating DC from the bridge rectifier. This is regarding the working principle of bridge rectifier, and this is its constructional view. I hope you all understand, isn't it? Okay, thank you.